Morning everyone, and welcome to day 9 of the trip. It is absolutely sweltering here, so it definitely does not help that the APT enforces us to wear long pants. Before coming here, I was completely unaware that for the tournaments you are not allowed to wear shorts. So I came here with lots and lots of pairs of shorts, no long pants. So what better way to combat sweltering heat and long pants? Steaming hot soup for breakfast. So we're here next to the hostel, having some pho for breakfast. Gonna finish up here, make our way as usual to the convention center. We have got the double stack today, so we start with 60,000 chips, double the usual amount, and that is just a ton of big blinds. Not really any need to get there out on time, so we're just gonna take our time here, eat breakfast, make our way there. We're gonna have 30-minute levels, so quite a lot of playability, and hopefully let's run good. As I'm sure most of you saw yesterday, I did trim the beard. This is obviously so that when the poker gods are looking down upon us, I am disguised to them so that their wrath of terror can finally end and can start to look for a cash today. Okay, we are paid and registered for the double stack. I slept 10 hours last night, so I'm really ready to play well, put in a long session today, and look to make the money at least. We're now on the first break of the day. I'm sitting with 97,000, average is 67. Very happy with how I'm playing. Actually haven't played very many hands. Stacked a short stack early where I called on the button with 9-6 of diamonds. Flop came king 7-8. He bet I called. Turn 10. He bet I called. River deuce. He bet I jammed on him. He snapped me off with a set of 10s. 4-bet bluffed with ace-3 suited, and I got 2 streets of value with kings full. Those are pretty much the only hands I played today, but doing very nicely, so I'm happy. Just want to avoid any coolers or bluffing it off. So yeah, that's what that's the goal. Just chip up. My patience is really being tested now. In the last 5 levels, I have played 1 hand. Everything else I folded. I'm just running incredibly cold. My stack has bled down to 60,000. The average is now 90, but it's still enough chips to play with. So I have infinite patience. I refuse to push the action unnecessarily, and I do have 1 hand breakdown that we'll go through. I opened the cutoff with 6-4 of clubs to 1100 at 300, 500 off 170 big blinds, covering everyone else. Small blind and big blind defend. The flop is queen 9-5 with 1 club. Checks to me, and because I have the range and nut advantage on this board, which simply means that I can have far stronger hands that connect here, such as aces, kings, queens, ace queen, pocket nines, that my opponents just don't have. So that means I can c-bet very frequently for a small size. I continue for 1300 and only the big blind calls. The turn was the deuce of clubs. Big blind checks, and this card really doesn't improve the big blind at all, other than maybe 5 deuce suited, which you can have sometimes. I now pick up a flush draw and a gut shot, so I continue for 5k, really trying to put pressure on a 9 as well as any of his straight draws. He does, however, call. River, queen. So the big blind now takes his hand and puts it on his chin like this, as if to contemplate leading. After a bit of thought, he does, however, check. And in retrospect, I should have seen this as a sign of strength. It almost as if he is scared to check and face a check back that risks him losing out on getting more chips in the pot. However, in the moment, I just missed this interpretation. So I decided to go for the bluff and fired 10,500, and I do think this is actually a bad bluff. He likely folds Jack 10 on the turn, and 9 is now way more likely to call once the queen pairs, and should he have any queen, he is never folding. The realization that this was a mistake came when I heard the dreaded words of all in from my opponent, who had about 30k back, resulting in an instantaneous hand thrown into the muck. Okay, so I went to get a cup of the most overpriced coffee in the whole country. Now we are back and hopefully can just pick up some hands. Really need to start chipping up now. Gonna get a massage and yeah, wish me some run good. Well, that did not take long at all. So the first hand back, I book my massage. I sit down, the hijack opens to 3k, the cutoff calls, the button calls, the small blind calls. And I look down at ace 4 off in the big blind. I have just under 40 bigs, and some would say this is probably a bit unnecessary, but I think it's quite a good spot. I decide to rip it in. Like, the people who flat are really so capped in what they can have. I have a good ace blocker. I think I can generate a lot of fold equity from like king, queen, king, jack. Even like some slightly better aces get to fold. So I rip it in. Initial opener folds. Everyone else folds. Small blind snap calls me with ace king suited. Ridiculous that he doesn't 3-bet, because I would have just easily gotten away from it. And we are busto. So not only did we have to spend money buying a coffee that I could have waited 30 minutes to get something far better and far cheaper, but I now also booked a massage that has lasted 30 seconds. So communicating that I will not be paying full price for that was also a little difficult. But now the plan is to get back, put everything away, and go get some food. Before we go for dinner, I think it's always nice to have a little show. So we are here at the Thang Long water puppet show that we'll be watching, and then I think it's about 50 minutes long, and then we'll make our way for dinner. Wow, that puppet show far exceeded my expectations. From the music being played on those Eastern instruments, it could honestly be likened to a world-famous orchestra. The incredible artistry of that facade, as well as the fantastically designed puppets and the coordination that it must take to put on such a complex and intricate puppet show on real water is just phenomenal. So it is now 10 p.m. and I am finally about to have my second meal of the day. I am very much looking forward to this. So this is probably my favorite fish, if you can call it that. So the first course is eel soup. So this is the soup with the eel in it. We've got some very thick rice noodles, and then some bean sprouts, leafy greens, and what looks like some onion. So we combine them all together, and this is course number one. We're at a very famous eel restaurant here, so wait for the rest. So here is a piece of the eel from the soup. So we're gonna put that in the bowl. Some more eel. Combine it with some rice noodles. Some bean sprouts. Onion. I think let's put a few ladles of this unbelievably fragrant and thick soup. I find it amazing that in the tightest narrow streets, motorbikes still come and go frequently. Oh, extremely flavorful. Eel super tender, absolutely fantastic. On to the second course of the evening. So here we've got stir-fried eel on a bed of thin rice vermicelli noodles. It's got some egg in here, some bean sprouts, carrot, but this looks absolutely fantastic. Also comes with a little clear, slightly salty broth. It's almost like a palate cleanser. So let's give this a try. I really do love eel, and this is top notch. I was very swiftly corrected with regarding to this broth. This broth is meant as a dunk. So essentially you go take some of the stir fry combined with the broth and then have it together like that. That's how we do it in Vietnam. The restaurant owner just kindly brought me a bottle of this, which is a shiitake infused soy sauce, which you add to the dipping broth, and it elevates it to new heights. It is delicious, fantastic. So the combination of these two, just perfect. So finally, to end off the night, I've made my way to this little cafe where I'll enjoy some coffee and cake. We've got here some egg coffee in the ingenious bath of boiling water, as well as some salted egg cake. So I'm gonna finish up here, make my way back to the hostel as we have a big day tomorrow. Tomorrow is the mini main event, so I'm gonna revise some pre-flop charts and head to bed early because we are really hunting for a cash, and I feel it in my bones that it's coming tomorrow. So with that, I will see you all tomorrow.